All right, first and foremost, I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and a sincere salutation to the Akim pushing this truth in sincerity by rawchaa, qadash. Okay, Black History Month. Okay, it began on Saturday, February 1st, and it ends on Saturday, February 29th. Okay, and as you see, February is the month in which they celebrate Black History Month. And the reason why I want to go into this is because the Bible is Black history. Okay, I want to read this real quick. Black History Month is an annual observance originating in the United States, where it is also known as African American History Month. It has received official recognition from governments in the United States and Canada, and more recently has been observed unofficially in Ireland, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom. It began as a way of remembering important people and events in the history of the African diaspora. Okay? So Black History Month began as a way of remembering important people and events in the history of the African diaspora. Okay? Now, what is the African diaspora? Well, let's look it up. African diaspora consists of the worldwide collection of communities, okay, the worldwide collection of communities descended from native sub-Saharan Africans or people from sub-Saharan Africa, predominantly in the Americas, okay? So that's what the African diaspora is, okay? Historically, ethnographers, historians, politicians, and writers have used the term particularly to refer to the descendants of the West and Central Africans who were enslaved and shipped to the Americas via the Atlantic slave trade between the 16th and the 19th centuries, with the largest populations in Brazil, the United States, and Haiti. Okay? So Black History Month is the remembering of important people and of events, okay, of the African diaspora. Now, we know that the descendants of West and Central Africans who were enslaved and shipped to the Americas were Israelites. Okay? This is facts. Okay? And we don't need history books, because we have the Spirit of the Most High, Yahawah and the Son Yahawashi, whom the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus Christ, helping us understand these things. Okay? But what's important here, what's interesting here, it says with the largest populations in Brazil and United States and Haiti. You see, the largest populations of so-called West and Central Africans who were enslaved and shipped to the Americas, the largest populations were in Brazil, United States, and Haiti. So that means those people of Brazil, United States, and Haiti have to be the same people. Okay, when we teach here at Great Millstone that those are Israelites, Brazilians are Israelites, Haitians are Israelites. Okay, continuing on, it says some scholars identify 4 circulatory phases of this migration out of Africa. Prior to the Atlantic slave trade, so prior to the 16th and 19th century, Arab traders took even more slaves from other parts of Africa, selling them to markets in North Africa and the Middle East. You see that? So Arabs had their hand, okay, in the diaspora, okay, where slaves were sold, okay, to Northern Africa and to the Middle East, Western Asia. Now, you can find this all in the Bible, but I want to read this. Okay? In his book From Babylon to Timbuktu, Rudolph R. Windsor gives an account of this scattering of the Israelites. Okay? In the year 665 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period of Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews, Israelites, fled into Africa. Okay? It says, okay, so from Pompey, okay, from 65 BC to 70 AD, okay, it has been estimated that I'm trying to highlight this. It has been estimated that over 1 million Jews, Israelites, fled into Africa. So those are Israelites, okay, they were enslaved and shipped to the Americas. They're not they're not West and Central Africans. They were Israelites. They fled into Africa, fleeing Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves. You see that? The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves. Millions of Israelites who escaped the persecution of the Roman Jewish war fled into the interiors of Africa. Okay, in his book, Jewish Roots of Africa, um, and that's all I'm going to read up on that. Okay, but the point I want to make is that a million Jews fled into Africa from 65 BC to 70 AD, and they must have stayed there. Okay, so Black History Month is the remembering of people and events that of people who came from the African diaspora. Now they're not Africans; those are Israelites. Okay, this is. And there's so many places we can go. It's not even funny, man. But the Bible is Black history. You got a lot of people that pay homage to Obama, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, just to name a few. Okay, and those people, they really didn't do much for so-called black people, man. The real black history is the Bible, and the real people you need to celebrate is the Most High, Yahawah, and the Son Yahawashi. Okay, let me get this, cause what? All right, let me just bring this out, man. There's so many places that I can go. It's not even funny, but let's bring this out, man. 64. It says, and Yahawah, okay, whom the world ignorantly calls God and Lord, shall scatter thee among all people. You see, we're not so-called Africans, West Africans, enslaved and shipped to basically Brazil, America, and Haiti. Is that what not it said about the African diaspora? It said that, right? But we found out that what in 65 BC to 70 AD that a million Israelites fled into Africa. The black the slave markets were full with Jewish slaves. So the Lord shall scatter thee among all the people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Okay, and this is facts. History can back it up, but the Bible backs it up. Okay, solidifies it. Okay, so those Israelites went into other nations and they served wood gods of wood and stone, man, and that wood is Christianity. Okay, the twisting of the Bible to portray that Jesus was a all loving man, and that that he was white and the angels were white and the prophets were white. Okay, and that's a lie. And stone, which is Islam. Okay, now MLK was a propri he was he was for Christianity, and Malcolm X was for Islam, and you find out that those guys, okay, were false prophets. That they did not have the truth. So why do people pay homage to black leaders like Kobe Bryant and other people who made it, so-called made it in America? Well, your guess is as good as mine, because Black Wall Street didn't make it. Okay, black people have been slaves, and they're still slaves, huh? You see, it says, let me see, let me get this. This is Deuteronomy 28:68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Okay, it says, this is a prophecy. The Lord shall bring you into Egypt again, because did not the Israelites serve slavery in Egypt? Okay, so it says he would bring you again into Egypt. Now, when you read Revelation, it tells you the city which is spiritually Sodom and Egypt, which is America. Okay. Now in the article, it said that so-called Africans were shipped and enslaved in America. Okay. So we came into Egypt again with ships, cargo slave ships. By the way whereof I spake unto you, thou shalt see it no more again. There ye shall be sold unto your enemies. Who were black people sold to? So-called white people, for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. No man shall redeem you. Okay, in other words, now when you look up this word redeem, let's look it up real quick. Yeah, you get kind of vexed when you hear people say black this, black that. We need to put more money into the neighborhood and own. We need to own business, send our kids to college, and and when in reality, all the answers are in the scriptures, man. Okay, you're not gonna find answers in the white man's history books, man. Read your own history book, which is the Bible. You know what? Let me skip that. Let me skip the redeem. Let me get it in here. No man shall buy you. When you look up that word buy, it means to what? Kana.
Strong's H 7069. Kana. Kana.
Right. No man shall what? Redeem, of God originating, creating, or redeeming his people. No man was be able to redeem the children of Israel. They would be left in slavery. They would have to be punished and serve slavery, man. Okay, the history of so-called black people, is Latinos and Native Americans, is slavery for disobeying the Lord their God. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 15. And brothers already know this. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And it speaks about being a slave. It speaks about being smitten with madness. It speaks about serving other gods, all right, Christianity and Islam. Okay, it speaks about you not making it and you always being oppressed and crushed always. Okay, it speaks about you getting you building and you laboring in the field and not having nothing to call your own. Okay, so all your answers are in the Bible, man. And if you want to speak about black history, man, go no further. This is Romans 15 and 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Right? So the things that were written in the scriptures, they were written aforetime for our learning, man. The things that were written by our ancestors for our learning. Okay? That we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So we read about the prophets. We read about the things that our forefathers went through so that we might have hope. We see their example. Okay? This is Job 8 and 8. Where I inquire, I pray thee of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers. Okay? Right. For we are but of yesterday and know nothing, because our days upon the earth are a shadow. So right, we are but of yesterday, man, and know nothing. Right. You go to school all your life, elementary, high school, you even go to college, and you still don't know who you are. Okay? But the Bible tells you to prepare yourself for the search of your fathers. Verse 10, shall not they teach thee and tell thee and utter words out of their heart? You see? Shall not your forefathers, shall not your heritage, your people, what's written, teach you and tell you? But people are so caught up in saying, "Oh no, I'm woke. No, I know what's going on. Oh, the original man was black. Yeah, you got 5%ers calling each other God. What up, God? This, that, and the other. Okay, but don't you know that the so-called God of the Bible is a so-called black man? That's written in the Bible. Okay, but you don't search, okay, the prophets. You don't search, anything. So you have no hope. You don't know you don't prepare yourself for the search of your fathers, neither the former age of things. This is Jeremiah 6 and 16. Thus saith Yahawah, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. You see? Ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? And walk therein. Let's look up this word, old paths. Yeah. How did they do it in the ancient world? How did we live? Walam.
Strong's H 5769. Olam. Olam.
Ancient time, long time of past. Okay? Ask of the long time of past, answer of the ancient ways. Thus saith Yahawah, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old past, the ancient ways. Where is the good way? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. Right. We will not walk therein. And you got people wanting to, so-called woke people that are gay and lesbian. Okay, there's no life in that. Okay, you have people that want to know, okay, what's the best way to live? What's the best food to eat? You know, what's the best clothes to wear? Okay, what do you do in civil matters? How do you judge among people? Okay, what's the meaning of life? Okay, all this is written in the Bible, and it's written about what? So-called black people, Israelites. Okay, and we're not really black. We're brown. Okay, starting at the beginning, it's Genesis 2:7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So man was made of the dust of the ground. What color is the dust of the ground? It's brown. Okay, and when you wet dirt, it turns into mud, which turns into a dark brown. Some may even say black. It says, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Right, man became a living soul, the breath of life. He was given wisdom. It tells you in the Apocrypha that man was set up over animals, and he was given the ability to think, okay, the ability to reason and whatnot. You know, all this wisdom is written in the Bible, but people don't want to read it. They don't want to read their history. Okay. Let's see. This is Jeremiah 14:2. Judah, okay, which is the top tribe of the Israelites, okay. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, right? So Adam was made out of the ground, okay, and Judah is black unto the ground. Now the ground has different colors there's different shades of the ground. You know, when it's more fertile, it's what? Dark. It could be said to be black. Even this mud even looks black. And the cry of Jerusalem has gone up. You see? Now let's get this. Where does it say? Where does it say? No, 7. 14? For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood. All right, so Judah, okay, is black into the ground. Adam was made out of the ground. Okay, the ground is what? The color of dust. Okay, the color of brown. Judah, the Lord is brown. Come on, man. People don't think, man. This is Revelation 1:12. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and a girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. Now brass, as it burned in a furnace, it was brown, dark brown, and his voice has the sound of many waters, and he had in his right hand 7 stars. Oh, Salakia, I missed the 14th verse. His head and his hairs were white like wool. Okay, his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. That wool, that's the so-called black man's hair. Okay, let's see what it says here.
Strong's G 2053. Erion.
His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass. Okay, brass, as if they burned in a furnace. So it was a dark brown. His voice is the sound of many waters. You see, a dark man with white woolly hair, the so-called black man. Okay, that's not too hard to grasp, is it? You know, for some people it is. Exodus 4:6, and the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thy bosom, and he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. Okay, this is speaking of Moses. Okay, when Moses put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. Okay, because white skin is leprosy. That's the skin he had, was leprosy. And he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and he plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. So basically the Lord told Moses to put his hand into his bosom, into his shirt, and when he took it out, it was leprous as snow. It was white. Okay, so he put it back in his bosom, and he took it out again, and it was as his other flesh, which had to have been opposite of white, which was brown. Okay, nobody's black. Okay, as much as people want to run around and say black this, black this, black that, you know, no nation on the earth is black. Okay, this is Acts 21:37. And as Paul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain, May I speak unto thee? Who said, Canst thou speak Greek? Art not thou that Egyptian which before thee days madest an uproar and leddest out the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers? Okay, so Paul was mistaken for an Egyptian. Okay, the Lord put leprosy on Moses' hand. He gave him white skin. Okay, for a second, the scriptures say in Revelation, the first chapter, that Yahawashi, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, had white woolly hair and feet that was like brass burned in the furnace. Okay, and if you read these accounts, this is history. Read the story of the people, the Israelites. But you got people that rather, read about, coonery. Okay, how to make it in America, how to become a Fortune 500 company, how to build another Black Wall Street, how to spend black money in the hood, and and Latinos are the same. Latinos are the same, man. They want to get their own companies and just coon it to the top, man, thinking that this is the end all be all, this society, man. We're looking for another place that dwelleth righteousness. Okay, now when you read the scriptures, you will know the way to walk, the good way. This is Psalm 78:5. For he established a testimony in Jacob, and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children. You see? So there's a testimony in Jacob, man, and only men can testify, and appointed a law in Israel. So there's laws, judgments, statutes, and commandments, okay, that if we would do them, we would prosper. But our people went off, okay, and worship the gods of other nations. And that's what bring the wrath upon you Israelites, you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And that's why you're running around the world claiming to be Mexican, all right, speaking Spanish, okay, and that comes from Spain, but what were you speaking before that? Before, you were conquered by Spaniards. Before Hernan Cortés conquered Montezuma. What were they speaking before? They were speaking a broken Hebrew. Okay, did not it say that the largest populations, okay, from the African diaspora were in Brazil and Haiti? Okay, those are the 12 tribes, man. Those are the 12 tribes of Israel. The Bible is a history book. Does not it speak about Alexander the Great? Okay, and Judas Maccabeus and the Maccabean revolt against the Romans. Does not it speak of that in the Apocrypha? Does not it speak about Nebuchadnezzar in the book of Daniel? Okay, and how Daniel dealt wisely among the Babylonians. Okay, does not it speak about how the Most High liberated Israel out of Egypt? Okay, so if let me continue reading this. This is Psalm 78:6. That the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children, that they might set their hope in God, and not forget the works of the Most High, but keep his commandments, and might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with the Most High. You see, the Lord always commanded us to obey him. You don't have no free will. Okay, but people don't even know that. They think that they're gods over their own destinies, and they control their lives, and that's why they choose all the ways of their oppressor. Starting with the so-called white man, and listen to his twisted version of the Bible, okay, which spawned Christianity. And Christianity don't have no prophecies. Christianity don't have no truth. Either does Islam, okay, which Allah is the God of the Muslims. Okay, so we were supposed to teach our children that our children would rise up and teach their children. Okay, that we might set our hope in the Most High and not forget the works of Yahawah, Yahawashi, but keep His commandments. But we read, even thou shalt discontinue from thine heritage, man. Did we not read that? This is Jeremiah 6:16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and seek and ask for the old path. Oh, Salakia, that's not it. I think it's in Jeremiah for sure. Oh, Salakia. But the scriptures say we shall discontinue from our heritage, man. Okay? Man, there's so many scriptures I could have went to. There's so many scriptures, okay, that tell you. But yeah, for lack of time, it's, this is kind of getting long. But yeah, your God is a so-called black man, you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay? Joel 2:27, and ye shall know that I am the midst of Israel, and I am Yahawah your power, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. You see? That's why you have, Israelites springing up all over the world. Okay, some with the true doctrine, some not. Okay, that those with the true doctrine should be made manifest, that are telling people, hey, you're not black, man. You're not a Mexican. You're not Puerto Rican. You're not Haitian. You're not Brazilian. You are the tribes of Israel that were scattered among the world. You were given laws, judgments, statutes, and commandments. This is Deuteronomy 4:5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahawah my power commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Right? Moses, okay, he was told by the Most High, okay, to teach the Israelites statutes and judgments, okay, that they should do it wherever they went. Okay, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and shall surely and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. Okay, and that's right. We don't eat bats. We don't eat pork. We're not to commit adultery. We're not to steal. We're not to murder. We're not to do things of this nature. We're supposed to judge righteously amongst each other. We're supposed to love one another. We're supposed to follow the commandments. We're supposed to observe the Sabbaths. And when people see this, they're like, wow, what a nation, what a wise, understanding people, what a beautiful people. Okay, because the ways of the Lord is life and the other ways is death. But our people are so gone into being, go to college and becoming alpha, beta, gamma, and Masons, and joining the Illuminati, and just, being perverse behind drugs, and wanting to be Buddhists and Hindus, and, observing every other religion. Christianity, which is, the white man's version of the Bible, okay, his interpretation of what God is. That's all madness, man. For what nation is there so great, who the Most High so nigh unto them, as Yahawah our power in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great, that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? Only take heed to thyself, and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget these things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons. You see? Lest you forget, man. You forget all these beautiful judgments, these statutes amongst the nations where you were driven, and begin to follow their gods and beginning to do their ways. Okay? And you become corrupted and defiled. And that's what's happening. The Lord is raising up a people who's remembering who they are, and another people who are calling them what? Themselves black, or brown, or Mexicans, or whatever the case. Okay, so I just wanted to bring this out. The Bible is Black history, man. The Bible is our history, I should say. Lord willing, this was edifying. It was kind of, impromptu. I just, this was kind of vexing when you see these people just saying all kinds of stuff. You're like, oh, man, read the Bible, man. That's where you're going to get your answers. All right. Till the next time, shalom.